Alrighty then, it's time for a dual purpose video. In the background, you're going to have Ass Pounder Nunu, AP top lane Nunu, and I'll mostly just kind of be talking about the new season. Because a lot of people have been asking me my thoughts of the preseason, and I gotta tell you, I can't really have solid thoughts on it until we're pretty much done with it, because Riot's going to be going through a slew of changes. There's a lot of bugs, there's a lot of weirdness to the game, and I'm pretty sure there's certain things they're not going to let stick around, like Tryndamere in the jungle. The Thunderlord's Decree doesn't work if somebody in your team has it. I mean, I think only one member of your team can actually use it, so it's bugged out. AP champions are really feeling the hurt, so that's pretty bad too. You can see their numbers drop a lot if you look at any of the websites that track win rates and whatnot. So AP champions are just in general losing. AD carries are in all the lanes, surprisingly not in this game. I've had a game where I had a Vayne top, Quinn mid, and a Varus bottom. It's like, what the fuck is going on? So, yeah, we're kind of having issues there. Some people are complaining about the jungle. There's some issues with the jungle with the smite not starting off with the right cooldowns and whatnot. So, there's problems everywhere. But it's the preseason, so we should expect that. Of course, don't be afraid to voice your opinion. Just kind of, don't get so dramatic. I've had some people say, oh, I'm already quitting this game because this preseason ruined it. Well, maybe for a week you can chill out, because I'm pretty sure in a few more days we're going to see a lot of changes. Nonetheless, the first few numbers have come out, and they've surprised me. Some of my predictions came true, and a lot of them did not. I said Tryndamere was going to be a problem, so Riot's going to be forced to nerf a few things that either support him or nerf him directly. They're going to nerf the Warlords thing, I think that's the one it's called, the one that gives him healing when he crits. They're going to nerf that thing down. And they're going to give it an internal cooldown, and I think it's only going to work against enemy champions, so he won't be able to use it against the jungle. Of course, the new jungle kind of still does support Tryndamere, so we might see him around for a little while. The one that surprised me and a lot of people is, if you look at the win rates for the jungle right now, and I know I don't put too much stock in win rates, but when it comes to preseason where everything's basically the Wild West, they're kind of the only thing we have going for us, so I'm going to give them a little bit more credit this time around. Dr. Mundo is right now the highest win rate jungler in the game with 50% win rate. Win rate. I tried him twice, one with the old build. It worked out well, but not well enough. And then the new build they're taking it, Jesus Christ, it's really strong. For a general rundown, max Q, max E second, take that mastery that chunks people based on your max health and just go to town on people. That's kind of the general gist of it. Your runes and masteries can just be whatever they want, though they apparently recommend attack speed. What surprised me the most wasn't Mundo, even though that one was pretty surprising, was number 2 was Rammus. Rammus, okay? His clear is atrocious, definitely. His clear is awful. So, he can get punished, he can't get killed even during this new season. But, he does crush AD carries tremendously. So, I would figure he might be seeing play right now and be dominating, because you can't really do shit to Rammus if he gets a kill or two against an AD carry. And later on into the fights, Rammus just taunts your carry, or taunts one of your mini carries, and they're just pretty much sorry, I clear my throat. They're pretty much just done for the rest of the game. So I figure he's kind of doing that. I mean, he's always had good win rates in solo queue. I'll give him that, but he might become more effective just because, again, the meta is currently favoring AD carries. I don't think it's going to stay that way, of course, because, again, preseason, we're going to see changes. But so far, he's doing well. Nunu's doing well sorry, this is going to sound silly. Doing well as well. So I've been picking him in pretty much everywhere, jungle, lane, and top. Now, what also... Nidalee would have done well if it wasn't for AP items costing more, so she's just out of commission at the moment. Kha'Zix has been on and off. Apparently, according to people I've asked, Kha'Zix does well, but he's got some issues that keep him from doing well enough. So, Riot's already going to be buffing his mana and his armor, so maybe that'll do enough, because he just needs a little tiny push to become super strong again, because he thrives in these kind of metas. So, yeah, it's fun so far. I mean, good so far for junglers. I don't think junglers have too much of an issue, except AP junglers being ousted because of the changes to the AP items. But I think once they fix that, we'll start seeing them come back. So far, a lot of the junglers that are dominating are sadly champions that are abusable due to one or two things. Like Master Yi and Jungle Jax are pretty strong right now, but that's because they get to abuse the living shit out of the Runeglaive. Hecarim, I would actually say, is pretty strong, but he works in a really funny way. He's a sort of a late game champion, but he snowballs really hard. And since the early phase of the game matters a lot, if you push towards your late game with a super snowballing champion, you could probably just shut out a game. So Lee Sin is dominating again because, again, he's pretty easy to predict to be somebody who will be strong in a fast meta. And champions that can't really deal with these super powerful AD carries right now are just getting absolutely giga-wrecked. So right now it is, as they're saying, the AD carry meta. I already mentioned, I've had so many carries everywhere, mid, top, even mid, top, in bottom lane. Sorry, I keep having to clear my throat. Mid, top, and bottom lane, and even in the jungle. Well, Kindred. I haven't saw Jungle Graves, which again I wasn't too surprised about because he was pretty fucking funny in it. So, as far as it goes, I'm not really having fun with it, but I have to repeat it again. It is just preseason. We're gonna see more changes. We're gonna see new junglers come up within the next 2 weeks. As far as changes go for everything, I'm pretty sure they're gonna make the other smites a little bit better, unless they're really, really dead set on making the trackers the only real one most junglers will be using. They're likely going to increase the gold or experience, or both, for the junglers, just to make sure they don't get weaker as the game goes on. So far, the thing I've noticed with junglers is junglers don't start off bad. Right now, like, it's the same as always. The clearing is pretty much the same, albeit it kind of sucks that they didn't think to fix the Scuttle Crab spawn time and your smite cooldown time at the beginning, so some junglers have a problem doing their level 3 clears. But I'm pretty but your first clear is fine, your second clear and the ones for the first 8, 9, 10 minutes are fine, but as it goes on, the monsters don't properly get strong enough. So if you're still relying on your jungle monsters to boost you up, then you're gonna get weaker. I've noticed that on some junglers. You start seeing this weakness when you just don't get enough. The thing is, though, Riot may actually want this if they're trying to push for the metas to be faster. So the jungler knows that after a certain point, the jungle is not going to be able to sustain them enough, so they're going to be forced to take action. So, yeah, that's something to think about, right? You can tell me in the comments what you think about that hypothesis or that idea. As far as everything else goes, again, fix the AD carries, fix the AP champions. That's how you'll see the AP junglers come back. But as far as things goes, I'm okay with this. I like the tracker's knife. I like walking around and doing things. The hunter's potion didn't work out as well as you had hoped for. A lot of people are complaining that it's too expensive, and it honestly is, considering how you have to make the push for the early game, but the jungle isn't sustaining you past, in terms of experience and gold, past a certain amount of time. So that investment doesn't seem too attractive. Although, again, the potions themselves seem kind of a wasted thing. I've sort of gotten to the point where I'm trying to buy as least potions and avoiding the hunter's potion as much as possible. Although it is a pretty good item, I won't doubt it. It's just, it might be shooting yourself in the foot in the current state that the game is. So consider that as well. Tell me what you think of the preseason right now. Reddit's been very vocal about it so far. A lot of people do remember that the season will, of course, be changing. The game will change, but they're not having fun. If you're, I'm in that camp right now too. It's currently not fun because a lot of champions are very limited. There's a lot of things you have to ban, or else things get out of control. Some items are obviously stronger than others, and there's a lot. The snowball effect of the game is extreme right now. So getting fed early, just kind of getting someone who feeds early is pretty bad. Also, player behavior is at its worst because preseason doesn't really matter to a lot of people. I've had so many AFKs and so much rage. It's insane. Still though, I do recommend trying out Dr. Mundo. If a lot of people try him out and suck, they'll lower his win rate so they won't have to nerf him. Hey. But in all seriousness, I did predict that he could be good. Of course, the grievous wounds does shut him down from the executioner's calling being cheaper, but of course, you do have to buy that item, which is not a totally attractive pick to everybody that early in the game, except when you have to use it to build into something later, right? So, early on, Dr. Mundo might get away with his shenanigans, but later on he gets punished. I didn't check the win rate per time thing. Either way, I like the changes, but I'm banking on it being more than just this, because currently it's not very fun. Not a lot of people are enjoying it, and there's issues with almost everything. The jungle not so much, but Riot's got a lot of work to do.